Good afternoon. How is everybody doing? It's Rich here. Do not adjust your sets. No Gov today and no Matthew Phillips. I've got a we've done a bit of rotation, talking town, a bit like Kieran McKenna, but I think they will slip seamlessly into the team. So everyone in the chat, welcome. If you are new here, this is Talking Town. Please hit the subscribe button. Please hit the like button. We will get one of the contributors when they are in to set a like target. So yeah, please hit the like if you're in the chat at the minute. No game this weekend, obviously international break, still loads to chat about. I've got a big long list of things to chat about. Gov is producing. He's been to a birthday party. I think he might be covered in jelly and ice cream, but he is producing backstage. So thank you to Martin for allowing us to have a show this Sunday. And I'll get the boys in. Craig and Phil, they are both. Martin will press the button and Craig's here. Where is Phil?
I'm here.
Oh, there he is. Good afternoon, guys. How are we?
Great.
Yeah, very good.
Boring weekend, boys? Boring weekend with no football?
Yeah, pretty much.
What have you been up to? What have you been up to, Phil? Anything interesting?
Last night I went to Woodbridge to have a look at some short films that were being presented by Suffolk Shorts. And it's an annual thing that they have around this time of year. I'm somebody who has an interest and passion for cinema and film. Did a film degree a few years ago. Something different.
What's your favourite film?
I think
on the subject?
It's very difficult to mention and say, to label a favourite film of mine because, it's very difficult to encompass life in sort of a 92-hour sort of minute runtime. I think it's probably the greatest film, or one of the greatest films I've ever seen, is obviously Lord of the Rings: Return of the King is up there.
Right, I've got a question for the chat, right?
Yeah.
If Ipswich Town were a film under Kieran McKenna, what would the film be titled? So when you're in the chat, get your thinking caps on.
That's an interesting.
I'll let you both think, and I'll come back to you in a few minutes. Anyway, Craig, can you set a like target for today's show, please?
Should we go for 200?
Ooh, 200 likes. We can smash that, I'm sure. So if you're in the chat at the minute, smash the like button. I'm on the iPad, so I can get some. Oh, Stephen Parry, good afternoon. Says you look like two Care Bears, you two. Anyway, I've got a shout out to Botswana Blue. He's at the Kruger National Park watching us live in South Africa. Can you believe that? There he is. Look, drinking beer in the Kruger Park. Good day, all. Loving it. What did you get up to, Craig? I know what you got up to yesterday, but tell everybody what you done yesterday.
So yesterday, me and the family went to Portman Road for one of the first stadium tours that they've just started to do. And yeah, it's a really good day. It's fantastic. So I've never done it as a town fan. I've obviously seen bits of the ground from the outside and obviously where I sit. But actually behind the scenes, the boxes, changing rooms, yeah, never seen it before. So it was impressive. It was
I've done that. I've done the tour.
The new one or before, like ages ago.
This was some time ago, but I've done it. Certainly not since they've obviously renovated the pitch and the stadium in the summertime.
Yeah,
worth the money? Worth the money?
Yeah, it wasn't overly expensive for the four of us. I think it was just under 50 quid for the four of us, so pretty reasonable. Got shown around by Simon and Seb.
This man feels got loads of money. He's always in the shop buying. Did you buy it? You must have bought something in the shop yesterday, surely.
Oh, I didn't. Do you know what it is, mate?
Unbelievable.
Most of it. So there isn't really anything left to buy. So
you can't get one of these though. Look at this lovely mug.
Yes,
I'll tell you, there is something in the Planet Blue shop that I want to buy, and I'm not sure if it's still on sale. They've got these ginormous kind of 2-pint mugs.
Yeah,
absolutely huge, like massive. And I was just debating whether to buy one or not, but I'm saying the size of the thing is.
Yeah. So well worth doing, yeah? Well worth doing?
Yeah, well worth doing. The only thing I'd say is I think it's scandalous, and I said that to him when I was there. Did you know that they have not got a replica FA Cup or UEFA Cup.
In the shop?
No, in the ground. They do not have a replica. So they
see the trophy. That was obviously the League Championship trophy. That picture you sent me.
Yeah, so they got out the League Championship trophy, which they showed us. That was in the ballroom on display, so you can obviously have your photo with it.
Hang on. Have they got the second place trophy from League One?
I didn't see it.
Hopefully that's been put in the dustbin.
They had the playoff final win.
Yeah, that
was in the cabinet, and they obviously had other memorabilia. So when England have played there, and the team sheets and bits, they had George Burley's FA Cup medal was in there.
I've got a comment anyway. Got a comment here in the chat from a guy called Neil Barley. Welcome, Neil. If you're new here, hit subscribe. Hi all, I'm living in Norwich and absolutely loving life with the town flying high. I can't wait to do a lap of honour in the City Club shop in full town kit when we get promotion. I will get it filmed too. Well, Innsbruck Trophy. Rob Smith says, what about the Innsbruck Trophy? Innsbruck Cup, is that in there?
I didn't see it in there. So apparently the replicas are ridiculously expensive. And I think you should be given one. If you win it, you should be given a replica to keep. But apparently they don't. So yeah, there is no replica FA Cup or UEFA Cup in that stadium anywhere. Well,
there you go. Anyway, shall we move along? Shall we talk? So we weren't going to do a show today, but then I said to Gov, I'll host. Gov's busy, Matt's busy. I've got these two wonderful gentlemen here. We had them last time when we done the Axel Twanzavi show. I think we nearly pulled in nearly 3K. So we'll see what numbers we can hit today, boys. No pressure. So the show today, get your comments in. I don't know if Martin's available. He's going to put any comments up, but I'll have a look on the chat. We're going to review the last. There it is. Ben Moore. Got my birthday this Friday coming. I'll be at Rotherham. Got hospital most of the week. No, unfortunately. Hope you're going well, Ben. Don't worry about the trolls. Lee Bayliss, may as well keep it there because that's where it's going to end. Yes, that's the League Championship trophy. Right, so we're going to have a look at the last block of games from when we broke off last time for the international break. We'll have a look at a few stats, standout players. Don't have the same players you two. Don't have the same goal. We're not including, by the way, Jack Taylor's goal in the cup. So you have to think about something else. So if you've got that, Craig, you'll have to think of another goal. And we'll have a look at the next block of, we've got 5 games before the next international break in November. We'll do a little points prediction. So Colin says they used to have a replica of the FA Cup and UEFA Cup. So I don't know what's happening there. Colin would be great doing the tours, wouldn't he?
Oh, yeah.
There is only one problem. It would probably be about 3 hours long. Shout out to Colin. Right, so we'll have a look over the last few games, guys. Kieran, obviously, named manager of the month. Phil? No surprise?
No surprise. I mean, say, what was it? 5 wins and a draw in September?
Yeah.
Including the cup game as well. But, you know, four wins in the league, 1 draw. I would say we could have lost that Huddersfield game because we didn't play very well. But no, I'm saying he should have won manager of the month 2 or 3 times last season and he didn't. But this one's long overdue in my mind.
Let's hope there's no curse when we go to Rotherham on Friday, please, guys. I think he's quite good, Kieran Craig. I think about getting rid of curses because we obviously now when we're on Sky we normally win. So I think any people saying manager of the month curse, I think that's a thing of the past. Right, so we'll run through the games. Starting off, we were at Hillsborough. Sheffield Wednesday, new manager, by the way. Danny Roll. Don't know a lot about him. He's the youngest manager in the Football League now. I think he's 34. So I hope he goes well, apart from when we play them in, I think that's early next year. So I went to Hillsborough 16th of September, Craig. It was a 1-0 town victory that day. And it was, I'd say, an emphatic 1-0.
Yeah, I pretty much agree. I still think they made hard work of it at times. Could have been out of sight, couldn't they, really? First half, had a few chances. I think Burns had a good chance. Obviously, he had a Dapo, which was a sitter. That was the one, I think, at 0-0. And then second half, obviously, sort of dug in. Sheffield Wednesday tried to sort of force the game without really creating anything. And then on the counter, we had when Hurst came on, I think he changed the dynamic forward. He had a couple of good chances, didn't he? With one of them, he tried to lob the keeper, and then the other one, I think he should have squared it, but he saw his name in lights and went for it. But yeah, I think as an away performance, guys, I think it's one of the most convincing 1-0s you'll see. Probably us playing this season.
I think that was also a big result for Kieran, Phil, because obviously we played against Wednesday before. I think 3 times it'd been. Obviously, the one time when he came in the season before last, we lost 1-0 at Hillsborough, and then it was 2 draws last season. So it's nice for him to finally get a win over Wednesday. It was pretty emphatic, wasn't it? Even though the scoreline wouldn't reflect that.
Yeah. I mean, for pretty much the whole game, I think Sheffield Wednesday didn't really have a single meaningful effort on target the whole game, did they? And it was when George Hurst came on for the last, I think, 20-25 minutes to replace Fred, that him and Broadhead should have had second and third and wrapped it up before the 90 for me. But, we just didn't quite manage to do it. But yeah, certainly should have been more emphatic than that. And
Steve Parry in the comments here, Phil, says their keeper kept him in it. I think he was probably their one outstanding player on the day, wasn't he?
Yeah, he's in from AC Milan. I think he's on loan from AC Milan. And
he was actually dropped. They dropped him the last game, which I was quite surprised. They brought Cameron Dawson back in because I think he's that day he showed what a good goalkeeper he is. And if it wasn't for him, it probably would have been about 3-0, wouldn't it?
Yeah, absolutely, yeah. And just quickly mentioning about the new Wednesday manager, I think wasn't Lee Bullen, mentioned in the press before the appointment was made. And I thought that would have been probably a smarter, more sensible, more prudent move for Sheffield Wednesday to go with a former player who knows the club, knows the way that Wednesday play, and it would have been a better fit. And I think it's always, I'm saying, when clubs at this level kind of go for an overseas manager like Wednesday have just now, it's always a bit of risk because they're not familiar with the way the league plays, and I look at that and think, how many games will he be given by Chanziri? How many? The pressure is on this new guy to win games, and he's a really young, kind of inexperienced guy. And I just think to myself, a little bit of a surprise appointment for me, I have to admit. But will he hit the ground running there? Will he, start getting the wins that those Wednesday's fans really need? And I think to myself, that's a bit of a head scratch for me. I didn't see that one coming. I thought that maybe a former Wednesday player would have got the nod. But
I think they need to sort of go long term, Craig. Like sort of when we appointed Kieran McKenna, he was a bit sort of outside the box, young up and coming coach. So they've obviously go down that route. I'll take on board what Phil says there about obviously he doesn't know the league, coming from obviously Germany. But look, Sheffield Wednesday, big club. We're not here to talk about Wednesday. We're here to talk about the pride of Anglia. Not Norwich, by the way, Ipswich. Right. 19th of September, we made the trip to the south coast. We had to deal with the M3, Craig. I was racing against the clock. Made it about 10 minutes to kick off. Got in the ground and another 1-0 Town victory. Made some changes that night as well, didn't we? But it didn't. I think 4 changes that night, wasn't it? I think there was 4. Obviously, Davis was injured. Amari come in.
Taylor started, didn't he?
Yeah, Jack Taylor got his first league start.
Yeah.
For Massimo. Yeah, that night, Massimo.
Yeah. It was another. I thought it was a resolute performance. I thought it was a side of us that you don't see too often, where we had to dig in. Started pretty poor. I think after sort of 20 minutes, we sort of got going. We sort of sussed them out what they were trying to do, and without really creating too much. I think they had the one chance, didn't they, second half, where they could.
What the Haleki save with his face?
Yeah, that was probably the outstanding chance for them. Other than that, I think Alcaraz had a shot, didn't he, from distance when he came on. Didn't really trouble us too much. I thought we looked dangerous on the counter-attack second half. I think there was one when Harness went through. And if you were just a little bit quicker, could have done better. Great goal from Hutchinson. Obviously, he done brilliantly, didn't he? First one, obviously, to win that ball back, and then Chaplin with a little first-time pass into him. Great strike, great finish, better celebration. And,
Can you do one of them, Phil? Can you do one of them? Can you do one of them flips? You ever done that?
I wasn't really much of a footballer. I kind of swapped my playing boots for my refereeing boots early on. And I think by about the age of about 22,
Have you seen any celebrations like when you're reffing? You must have seen a few in your time. No,
yeah. I'm
somersaults.
Most of them have been when all the players pile in on the goal scorer. Typical celebration. Very rarely did I see any backflips. It was a case of, the whole team kind of celebrating together kind of thing. And then when you get games like it's one-sided when they're scoring 8, 9, 10, 11 goals, they kind of just give up and say, oh, well done, well done, well done. That kind of thing. And so interestingly, I had one game. I refereed a game down in Felixstowe, Trimley Red Devils game early on. This is when they were, I think, new to the SIL. I think they were in Division 5 at the time, and they were playing, I think, Stradbroke United Reserves, and they're based up the A140, I think. And after 5 minutes, Stradbroke took a 2-1 lead after 5 minutes. What do you guys think the final score was at full time?
2-0 after 5 minutes.
2-1 to Stradbroke, the away team, after 5 minutes. What do you think the final score was to Trimley? And Trimley did win the game.
Was it by quite a lot of goals?
Yes, it was.
I'll go 15-3.
You, Craig? Any advance on 15?
14-5.
Any other guesses?
Well, I don't know if there's anyone in the chat. I did see that game the other day. I don't know where it was. There was a team. They lost. Oh, it was in Scotland, Phil. They lost 51-0.
Jesus Christ. Didn't see that. Anyway, the Trimley game ended 23-1.
23?
23-1. After
Blimey.
A goal was flying in after every 2 or 3 minutes. And what I didn't know is that Trimley that afternoon had a former Greek international player playing for.
Was he registered?
Yes, he was. He was registered.
I've given you two enough time. Your film names for town. If Ipswich under McKenna was a film, what would it be called?
Well, I think I would liken it to one of those Marvel films. The Marvel franchise, like Kieran Marvel.
I like that. Craig?
No
idea. Put you on the spot here.
Yeah. I don't know. Come back to me. Give me a little bit longer.
Anyone in the chat? Got any good film names for town under Kieran McKenna? Come on, Colin. You could get one. Steve Catchpole. Hello from sunny Cyprus. ITFC Films, The Blues Brothers, The Blue Wave. There you go.
Great,
easy.
Wonderful.
Easy.
Great stuff. Yeah.
So, yeah, it was pretty comfortable, wasn't it, down at Southampton, Phil? I think it was probably a good time to play. I know we lost to Leeds, but that was the only game when they had all them 4 front players. But I think playing these relegated teams sometimes, with the turnover of players they've had, I think it's a good time to play them early. And I think that was probably a good time. Obviously, Russell Martin trying to implement a new style of play. And that was obviously how we got the goal. And I think it was another, I wouldn't say comfortable. It wasn't as comfortable as Sheffield Wednesday, but another solid 3 points on the road.
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, it's the one game that I haven't been to, obviously. I couldn't get to it because I was in London. But, I watched it on Town TV. And, it was just one of those games where, I would have liked to have, us to have scored more goals that evening. But, Amari just announced his, himself on the Ipswich stage.
Don't worry. We're getting to some games with more goals in, Phil. Don't worry, because when Town are at Portman Road, goals are never hard to come by, are they?
Yeah, I would say the first, 10, 15 minutes, I thought, with the chance that Southampton had, I'm going to say that save by Hiragi, getting his face in the way was a bit unfortunate, but absolutely crucial block from him. And you just sense if Southampton had got one of those 2 really good chances early on, how would that game would have panned out? Would we have grown more into the game like we did? After the first 15 minutes, it's really refreshing to see this away from home because, Kieran's got them playing, the way that we are. And, I would say there's not really too much variation as to how we play away and how we play at home. And I think, we're probably, obviously, we're getting more bodies forward and it's leaving space at the back. And that's probably why we're conceding a bit more at home because, teams, when they come to Portman Road, with the likes of Cardiff, Blackburn, Leeds, obviously they showed a degree of no fear as well as Preston. And, they managed to break through. But, that Southampton game, especially for Amari, was really crucial for him. And it's just so nice, that one game, with Amari playing the way he did, it just goes to show that we do have the quality, enough quality and depth in our squad, to go the distance and keep on top for a long time.
We've got more film names coming in here. We've got Martin Hignett, Escape to Victory. Martin Hignett against Supermen. Paul Hedger, Love, Actually, Craig, and Matt Stannard, Blue Lagoon, The Awakening. There you go. It's easy.
I like it.
Right. Phil's bemoaning that we didn't score many goals on the road. So we'll come to the next league game. 23rd of September at Portman Road. Just another 7 goals, Craig, at Portman Road. Another boring home game for Town as we put Blackburn Rovers... Well, I was going to say put them to the sword. We did in the first half. Obviously went 3-1 up, didn't we? And then let them back in the game. And then Massimo Luongo smashed one in from the edge of the box. And the Town run out 4-3 winners. What do you remember from that game?
I think, like you said, really, obviously started relatively well first half, and obviously was on top. I thought even though Blackburn, I thought they played the best football I've seen from an away side at Portman Road this season. But it was just an overload. Every time they went forward, they just chucked everyone at it and was just left wide open. And I thought we picked them off relatively well first half and was pretty comfortable. And then Broadhead obviously hit the post just before half time, which would have made it even better. Sort of the cherry on the top. And then second half is my one little sort of bugbear with this team at the minute. I don't know if it's a complacency issue, but we let teams back into games when we're so comfortable at managing a game. We let them back in, and we did second half. And they come out of the box, obviously made a few changes. They were sort of got back into it, and really at 3-3, you're thinking. I was watching it and thinking, there's only one team that's going to win this now.
Because that was the game when you were under the thumb and you weren't allowed to go. Am I correct?
Yeah, that is the game. Yeah. So.
He was doing the family thing, by the way, everybody.
Yeah, so apparently my daughter's birthday is more important.
Well, what do you think about that, Phil?
Well, with the goals that we're scoring, it's annoying that we're kind of letting, because we had like that 20-minute period after half time where we kind of just, our work rate wasn't as quite intense. We'd done the hard work in the first half, and
do you think right? Just touching on that, and obviously a few comments made last Saturday after the game, and I'm not going to say who it was, but saying about the midfield, right? I think, but I'll say, look, Ben, I think he had a point. Just don't think he worded it like right. But I do think the midfield for the Leeds game, the Blackburn game there in the second half, and even last Saturday against Preston, they do drop off a little bit. I'm not going to say they look their age there, Phil, but they get a little bit leggy, I think. And I think sometimes it's the work that we've put in the first half, because if you look at these games, especially at home, we just come out all guns blazing, don't we, in the first half, and we put so much energy and so much hard work into it. And I think sometimes maybe we have to take a breath or whatever, but we do run out of steam a little bit in the centre of the park sometimes.
Yeah, I think, it's I would say with the home games this season, we're hitting teams hard and fast. Right from the first whistle, we're hitting teams hard and fast. And we're getting the goals, from the chances that we're creating, and rightly so. But it's because we're playing, like you said, at such a high intensity. So you try doing that for 90 minutes, in a 2 or 3 game week. It's almost impossible to do. So there's going to be periods where we manage the games, and because obviously we commit bodies forward, we obviously leaving space at the back for those teams to capitalise on. And unfortunately for us, it's going against us. But it's like I said, I'm say us scoring, outscoring teams at Portman Road is such an entertaining thing to be part of is great. But I mean, it's a bit of a concern moving forward in the longer term that we are conceding a bit too many goals for my liking.
Yeah, Steve Parry says there, Craig, in the chat. He says, look at the international breaks. The game prior was a struggle for us. And then Lee Bailey says maybe that's what he meant. Their ages, legging at times, need a more youthful midfielder in there. And you've got obviously Jack Taylor, haven't you? Who he came on, he brought him on, and he's brought him on in a few games. Right, getting back to that Blackburn game, we will at the end of when we review these games. Obviously, we'll have your goals of the month because it was a block. Goals of the block, I'll call it. So we had obviously Harry Clark with an absolute screamer, and then Massimo Luongo with a sort of half volley, wasn't it, from the edge of the box.
What about Town's second goal against Blackburn? The one where Chaplin, flipped it on for Broadhead. He took 3 touches, and that third one was absolutely sublime. Just took the goalkeeper by complete surprise. And
that was the volley. That was the sort of volleyed pass, wasn't it? From Chaplin
that's right.
to Broadhead.
The
Chest,
yeah.
hit it, didn't it, Craig? I think
he caught, like Phil said, I think he caught the keeper by surprise, didn't he, taking it as early as he did. But the pass from Chaplin, the vision is it was fantastic to set that up.
George Hurst, what about the Cameron Burgess turning into Kevin De Burgess at the back there, Phil, with a lovely slotted through ball?
Cool as you like. I felt that was a bit of a class finish, and it's obviously his celebration afterwards, going off to the Blackburn fans, hands behind both ears, I think was class for me. And I'm sat right behind that. When I thought to myself, oh God, he's 1-on-1. What's he going to do? Is he going to try and flip it over the keeper's head like he usually does? And just to sort of dink that with his toes and just to pass it through the goalkeeper's legs was a bit of a class for me, and I really enjoyed that one.
I'm just looking up a player here because I've got a comment. Hang on, 2 ticks. I'm just googling him. I do remember him. Earl Jean. If everyone, you're too young. Definitely. Football. 1971, Craig. So Phil might remember him. This is Neil Barley. A town stadium tour. I'm not saying that you're old, Phil, by the way. I am old. A town stadium tour in the 90s on Boxing Day. I met walking an on-loan star called Earl Jean. Can you remember him, Gov? So he was a St. Lucian footballer, and he played 1 game for Town. So I don't think he will live long in the memory. But I do actually remember him. But that maybe means what a saddo I am. But there you go. Anyway, so we got the 3 points there. We'll quickly touch on the Wolves game. I didn't go to this game. Did you go to the Wolves game, Phil?
No, I didn't. I couldn't go. I was doing something. I kind of planned something else for that Tuesday. It's not often that I can't go to a football game, but that was one of the nights that I couldn't go, unfortunately. But
we missed the cracker because none of us.
I know.
We didn't go. You didn't go, did you, Craig, as well?
No, unfortunately, Jake, he was poorly that day, so we didn't.
You did have tickets, didn't you, for that game?
Yeah, we had the tickets. We was going to go. Was looking forward to it actually, and we were both, to be fair, pretty rough. So we swerved it in the end.
But Town's performance made you feel a little bit better.
Yeah, he played really well. Because the thing I like about it is even though he's making wholesale changes, didn't he, the 10. What the surprise for me was obviously he played Hladky, didn't he?
That started the rumour mill, obviously, with Walton back to fitness. Everyone was like, oh, why is he playing Hladky? Is he like, this is going to be one of his last games, But maybe he just wanted to see him against Premier League opposition.
Yeah, or Slicker might have had a knock, or you don't know. But for me, we started again. First 10 minutes was a little bit slow, and then as soon as we suss teams out, that's it. We're set. And sometimes it takes a little bit longer than others, but once we do it, and then it's seamless football from the first 11 through to say that second team. They all play the same way, even that's a different set of players. The philosophy now from the top to the bottom of the club is I think it's brilliant, and you can see it. The style of football doesn't change.
Lee Bayliss puts a great comment there in the chat, because this time normally in seasons gone by we would be with the TV on, because it is FA Cup first round draw today. Fortunately, we are not in it, and we have to wait for the third round, Craig. But did you see Brackley won yesterday?
Yeah, got through, didn't they? Beat Dagenham and Redbridge.
Yeah, they beat them 1-0. So, yeah, that reminds me when I went to Brackley, Phil, last year, and with my lovely white trainers, walking through. Oh my Lord, shocking it was. It was like I had to go through this path, and I'm thinking I've got to get from A to B. I do need to walk through that, and it was like one of them ones when you tread on something, and it's like, oh no.
Your trainers disappeared. My shoes literally disappeared as I was walking. It was literally up to my ankles. You couldn't see.
Did I see? I didn't see the game. I know it was on the telly. Colin said he was watching it, and I see the goal. Have they got a 3G pitch now?
Oh, I don't know.
It looked like it on the goal. You know when you look at a game and you think that pitch is 3G. It's not. You can tell, can't you? Maybe if you're in the chat and anyone watched that game yesterday, have they got a 3G pitch at Brackley? Maybe that's where all the money they made out of that cup run last year, Phil, went to.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't go to the game. I watched it on TV. Yeah, I think teams, further down the football pyramid, kind of rely on sort of all-weather pitches now. I think Felix and Walton,
it's Bracknell, by the way. It's Bracknell, not Brackley. I said Brackley. Everyone's in the comments that they have got a 3G pitch. Colin says now, paid for it without a game. Matt Stannard's put Bracknell in capital letters. Bracknell Town, probably a ground field that I thought I'd never ever visit. And shout out to actually Needham Market, who got a 0-0 draw yesterday away to York City in the cup, and they've got a replay on Tuesday night. So if anyone's local and wants a game of football to go to, pop down and see Kevin Orlock's boys in replay action.
Is the replay being played at Needham or is it in York?
Yeah, no, that'd be at
okay.
Needham. That's at Needham on I think Tuesday night, Phil.
Oh, right.
So good results. Yeah, but getting back to the Wolves game, like you say, Craig, we went 2-0 down. And the one player, Phil, I was watching that game, and one player who stood out for me when we're 2-0 down, because sometimes it's easy for players, you're losing 2-0 and it's a little bit, they go missing. Amari Hutchinson, he got on the ball, he started making us tick, and he obviously pulled us level with a good finish. Shout out to Marcus Harness that night, Phil. I think he got three assists. Was it that game?
Yeah, I would say missed the game, but yeah, 3 assists in one night is not to be sniffed at. And I admire Marcus's work rate and commitment, because it must not be easy sort of sitting on a bench, maybe not being included in the 18. He was one of those players in the summer that we all thought might be moved on, but I would say there's a real togetherness with this squad, and even the players on the fringe who don't get much game time, they're all in it. We're all they're all in it together, and I think that's done something confidence wise to the players who don't necessarily get much game time. A word of wonder, because for Marcus to perform like that against higher league opposition, in a cup game, it shows what he's capable of doing. I'm saying he's obviously not the fastest. He doesn't score the most goals, but a player like that who does actually have a bit of quality about him, he can score goals. It's just really, really nice to see. And I think that, as we play more games, I think we're going to see more of that. And I wouldn't be surprised if we, go on to reach maybe the semi-final of this competition this year.
Oh,
it's a bit of a shout. It's a big shout out.
Well, it's funny you should say that, because this is the first time since 10 years ago when we played Arsenal.
I went to that game. I went to the Emirates, and those seats are huge.
Padded seats.
Yeah,
well,
I'm 5'9", and I'm sat there, and I can't even put my feet on the concrete. They're so big. It's like
we could be visiting the Emirates maybe there next season, Phil.
Yes, we will.
We'll say it quietly.
Yeah,
But first time for 10 years we've been in round 4, Craig. Obviously, we've got Fulham coming up. We will touch on that a little bit later.
Yeah.
Jack Taylor, he got a goal of the round, didn't he, in the Carabao Cup?
What a strike.
What a goal that was.
Yeah, a fantastic strike. For me, it was the fact of he didn't even when he had to touch out of his feet, it wasn't a massive touch. He didn't even really have a run up to it. It was just one little touch, and then just bang. Just got obviously moved. The keeper for me maybe a little question mark. He was obviously a little bit off his line, wasn't he?
I think it beat him for pace. I think you'd be a bit. I think the goalkeeper. I think the second goal, Ladapo's equalised. I think Bentley probably he gets a big hand. He should save that. But I think that's been a little bit harsh. If you say,
it's a little bit overcritical, I guess.
Possibly.
But it was. I thought it was a cracking strike. Great goal. I thought he would win goal of the round because he also won. Did he win player of the round as well?
I don't know. Did he, Phil? Do you know that?
No, I don't.
I'm sure he won 2 accolades for that round. I don't know whether he got player of the round and goal of the round.
It was some goal.
Yeah, it was a fantastic strike, unbelievable, and that's what he brings. I think we see it, didn't we? I think it was obviously a few games he's played in there where he does like picking the ball up outside the box and sort of going for goal, which is.
I think
we need that because when we overplay.
I think
we had a chance last year, didn't we, with Morsey when he was sort of pulling the trigger a bit more often and was getting the rebounds and Chaplin was following up. So sometimes it is nice, obviously, if you've got the time on the edge of the box, sometimes just pull the trigger, and he looks like he's got that ability.
I've got a question for you, Phil. So it is the date today is Sunday the 15th. Who did Town lose to on the same date this time last year?
That's a difficult one.
We only lost 4 games last season. Come on, think about it.
Oh, Lincoln. Was it Lincoln?
Yes.
Yeah, Lincoln.
It was Lincoln City when we battered them.
We had like 33 chances on goal.
Yes.
We didn't. That was terrible. I would say we didn't play great, did we? That afternoon. I'm saying probably the worst home game we played.
I think that is the last time we lost at Portman Road. I think that is, Craig. In the league.
Yes.
I think we lost to Pompey in the Papa John's, but league defeats. I think that is the last time we've lost. Oh no, Leeds United. Yeah.
I was going to say Colchester, but that was earlier on last season.
Oh yeah, let's not go there. Anyway, we get on to Huddersfield. Were you there, Craig? Oh no, you weren't there. Where were you that day?
I was there.
Yeah, it was the follow-on from the previous week's birthday celebrations, wasn't it?
Yeah, you went to. Did you go to Lakeside?
I was dragged around Lakeside shopping.
Got dragged around Lakeside, Phil.
She timed it unbelievable. We left literally just as kick-off started. So
you mean to say that you didn't go to Blue Water? Blue Water's bigger and more exciting, I think.
Yeah, I prefer Blue Water, but he's trying to get over the bridge.
Oh right.
Lakeside's this side.
Anyway, we made our way to Huddersfield. The weather down this way was all right, and when we got up there, Phil, it was filthy. It was about 12 degrees, and I think it rained literally all afternoon, didn't it?
It did, and I didn't realise that because I haven't been to Huddersfield before. I got my ticket second row.
Oh, you must have got drenched.
I got my jeans got wet. It wasn't so bad. I'm saying there was a slight overhang as you look up, and the wind wasn't too bad, so it wasn't exactly blowing back in towards the stand. It was kind of just falling straight down. But yeah, I did get a bit wet. My jeans got wet, but. I mean,
I was about 5 rows from the back, and it was dripping off the stand. So I had one dry arm and one wet arm. But
I think at half time, I had a friend who was spotted about 10 rows behind me, and he said, "Oh, Phil, there was no one sitting to the left of him. You can have this seat." So that's exactly what I did. The second half, I sat just keeping my fingers crossed that I wasn't going to get turfed out because of it. But no, I've not been out.
We huffed and puffed, didn't we, Phil? We huffed and puffed that day.
I don't like to say that we missed Morsey because I don't think we did. I just think, it was just one of those games where, it's new manager Darren Moore coming into new club.
Yeah.
I do rate Darren Moore as a manager. I think he's slightly underrated, even when he was at West Brom and he was managing a struggling Premier League team back then. But yeah, new manager bounce. They obviously, they pressed us higher up. Didn't give our fullbacks, wing backs too much space in the first half, and it worked for them. I mean, say they frustrated us, and we weren't at our fluent best that afternoon. I'm afraid we kind of huffed and puffed for most of the game. But I think for the first 10 minutes, and then the last 15 or so that we sort of came back into the game and managed to get the goal that when we did. But we could have easily have lost that game, and just looking at that Huddersfield goal, Hadley could have got a hand to that. Vaz perhaps maybe should have got a hand to that. I think his positioning was a little bit off.
Not for me. Not for me. It's we give the ball away in midfield poorly, and if you look at that goal again, Lee Evans has got to get a lot tighter, and he's got to show him on his left foot, because that guy, Craig, you know what he's doing every day of the week. He's going to come inside and have a shot, and when he comes inside, Vaz can't see it because it goes right through Lee Evans' legs and it beats him at his near post. But to be fair to him, that game, if it wasn't for the goalkeeper, Craig, we would have lost that game, because I think it was 4 or 5 saves he made that day to keep us in the game.
Yeah, obviously, like I said, I didn't watch the game anyway, so obviously for me it's hard. But Stonewall penalty first half. Yeah,
on Amari. Oh my lord!
So that could have potentially been the turning point. Obviously, 1-0 up, changed the game. Obviously, it was the big one as well, where I think we was all expecting Taylor to start, and he played Evans, which was a bit of, I didn't expect it. I thought obviously Taylor would be a shoo-in.
That will probably be Lee Evans' last game in the town shirt, because obviously now, unfortunately, he got injured, didn't he, that game? He's had a knee op, and I think they reckon, Craig, probably about 6 months out.
Yeah, and it's a shame because he's just been hampered by injuries, hasn't he? He hasn't consistently been able to put a run of games together to sort of show us. Like, we've seen glimpses of what he can do, and I think he's a very good player. He's a tidy player, and I think he'd be really useful for us. But it's just been unfortunate, hasn't he? Really.
He played well, but I think we see that game, Phil, that Lee Evans now, I think the sort of football that we play, I don't want to be cruel, but I don't think he's mobile enough in the midfield.
No, he's no Morsey, is he? You know, he hasn't got the agility or the movement or the foresight like Morsey has. I think for me, you know, one of the games I've seen him obviously playing, you know, early this season is the cup game against Reading. Thought he did all, he set up Fred for the goal that he scored, which was a terrific through ball. But you know, other than that, I've not really seen. I would say he's not been a Marcus Harness this season. He's not been, you know, he hasn't kind of shown that he can take his game to another level. Like, you know, Marcus obviously improved, you know, since the end of last season. But yeah, Evans is one of those players that is a bit injury prone, and you know, he's facing another sort of a long term on the sidelines, unfortunately, because he's a good player. You know, he can offer some quality to.
He's also, I think, he's out of contract as well, Phil, at the end of the season. So I'd see him moving on, if I'm being honest.
Just one final bit about Huddersfield. I'm saying Omari could have had a second penalty in the second half. You know, I felt, you know, when he was dinking the ball, you know, into the penalty area. Obviously, I'm up the other end, thinking, is he gonna do it? Is he gonna score? Is he gonna do, you know, what he did at Southampton? Should have done, and really, you know, we could have had a second penalty, I think, looking at that. But definitely Vaz was man of the match for us, you know, that afternoon. 3 or 4 excellent saves, and even the Huddersfield goalkeeper pulled off 2 or 3 very good saves.
Yeah, Nichols, good goalkeeper. But look, we kept going, Craig, and I think this is. Go on.
Was that the game, Rich? You said you thought his distribution was quite poor.
Yeah, I thought lucky for. We talk about he's really good with his distribution, his feet, and I think that game. But then I think it was how Huddersfield pressed us, Craig, and they didn't leave us a lot of space. And he's dinked a couple of balls. He's tried to dink into midfield, and they've got shut down. But it showed that day for me that in years gone by, you'd go away and you're probably losing 1-0 coming into the last 5 minutes. You think, nah, we're not going to score. But this team, they keep going. And then it was the old Omari, actually, he went out on the right-hand side, didn't he, when we made some subs. And I think he had something like 8 crosses, I think, when he went out there, Phil. And from one of them crosses, he's delivered to the back post.
Yeah.
Leif Davis coming in, side foots it back. And I think we were all pretty shocked because it was up the other end and I didn't really know who scored. And then you get the notification on your phone. And if someone had told me Brandon Williams would be popping up at the back post with a diving header 3 minutes from time to get us a point, I don't think many people would have that on their betting slip, Craig.
Who was it? Who was it that missed 2 or 3 yards from the line? Was that Fred?
I think he's gone over. I think he's gone over his head, isn't it? He's
in the second.
He's crossed from one side, and I think Leafs knocked it back across, and then it was Luke Chambers-esque at the back post there, Craig, diving in to make it 1-1 and to nick us a point, I would say.
Yeah, it seems as though it was that way, but it was a great header. And obviously Davis as well. Obviously the ball back across was really good. So it's like you said, it's sort of snatch and grab in it really, by the sound of it.
I think it's like one of them games, Phil, when you leave the away ground and you've drawn 1-1 and you've scored a late goal, and it sort of it feels like 3 points, doesn't it? Then
yes, it does. Yeah, I was just about to say that. Yeah. I mean, say those Huddersfield fans just looking around a stadium when we equalised in the 87. Every Huddersfield fan kind of just sank back into their seat, thinking, "Oh God!" And it's such a nice feeling coming away, from the ground when we've got a point. Perhaps maybe with the chance that Huddersfield had, we were fortunate to get a point, but I didn't see it that way. I didn't think that Huddersfield played well enough for the win, and we played poorly that day, didn't we? I mean, nothing much was going right for us, and noticing this season so far when we're playing the bottom teams like Wednesday, like Queen's Park Rangers, like Huddersfield. We're not scoring the goals. We're not getting the goals that we really should. And obviously the Sheffield Wednesday game, prime example. Again, there were periods in the Queen's Park Rangers game where we considered to be fortunate that we didn't concede, obviously early on. But we need to score more goals away from home. We need to be killing off teams more emphatically with the chances that we've created. Because certainly Sheffield, we should have won the game 3 or 4 easily. And it was just a bit of a shame that we didn't. But 3 points is 3 points, and clean sheet is always great to see on a Saturday afternoon at 5 o'clock.
But when we come to the next 5 games, we've got 3 out of them 5 are away, so we'll have a look at them. But then we come to the 3rd. We're into October now, and we've got high flying Hull City come to town, Craig, and they're unbeaten in 8. And you think, this is going to be a good test for Town to play a team who's obviously under Liam Rossini. They're impressing. And Town, they just, 3-0. Real assured home performance. Probably, I'd say that first 45 is probably one of the best under McKenna that I've seen.
So for me, that is one of the best performances I've seen. Probably for best part of 15 years, maybe longer. I thought it was going to be one of our toughest games to date. Obviously, Hull. I think since Rossini's come in, they've only lost.
Yeah, I think he'd only lost before that game. I think he'd lost like 7 in about 38.
Yeah, so they were doing really well. Obviously, they hadn't lost since the opening day away, obviously, away at Norwich.
They were unlucky to lose that.
Yeah,
they were unlucky to lose that.
Goals offside, I think.
No, they got a corner in injury time. It was out over the byline when the Norwich players crossed it, and it's gone deflected out for a corner, and they've scored from that corner. But they were unlucky.
So for me, it was the most convincing performance of the season. Best performance under McKenna, and I'm going to say that we made Hull look poor. Not that they were just poor in general. I thought we were fantastic. I think all the little one touch. It's one of those. I thought it was one of those nights where everything they tried going forward come off.
Yeah.
Obviously, Harness came in. All the little one touches. Everything was on point. And it was just an all-round fantastic performance. I think the only opportunity that Hull had, was it first half when I think Edmondson tried to shield the ball.
Yeah, he got the right. He had a race, didn't he? With I think it was Liam Delap, and I think that's why they brought him in for his pace.
Yeah,
and he seems to get ahead of him, and then he sort of I don't know if he's waiting for the goalkeeper.
He was, wasn't he? He looked like they were both waiting for each other.
Yeah. He gets a foot, doesn't he? And then squares it, and then Connolly's a little bit off balance and side foots it wide, doesn't he?
Yeah, so they weren't really apart from that, they offered nothing. I thought they were. I'd probably go to say they're the poorest team I've seen at Portman Road this season.
I think Craig's right there, though, Phil. I think sometimes we say, the opposition, they were really poor. But I think that night,
we blew them away.
We made Hull look poor, didn't we?
Yeah, we did.
We were so good.
That we were so good. Yeah, I think probably the best home performance this season by quite some way for me. And, the goals that we scored, that night, I think Harness he was man of the match, wasn't he? We all thought that he was,
Colin says in the chat, Ipswich Town made Hull City look like a Walsham La Willows.
Whoa. No, but I mean, say the goals that we scored that night, you know,
Yeah.
two, I would say, Burns to strike early on after, was it 5 or 6 minutes, and then, you know, that second goal, that wonderful team movement that ended up with Chappers, you know, I was sat right behind that. I got up celebrating even before I hit the back of the net. It was that good, you know, for him to just take one touch with his right, just to calm it down, and then strike it with his left in the top corner was absolutely superb.
Like I said, Phil, on the Wednesday show after that whole game, and look, Liam Rossini, they obviously do they're looking at like town strengths and weaknesses, and if you're looking as an opposition manager, one of the first things you should be saying is Connor Chaplin, do not give him any space around the edge of that box. And I mean, he has time to take a touch. He could have made a cup of tea. He had so much space, didn't he, there, and just bent it straight in the top corner. He passed it in, didn't he? Passed it into the top corner with the outside of his boot. Fantastic finish.
Just caressed it really with his left and just flew in.
But that night, obviously, we spoke about Edmondson there, Phil, and him and Harness came in, and you wouldn't. The team, the quality drop off, it didn't drop off at all because he was outstanding that night. Marcus Harness, I gave him man of the match that night. I thought he was. That was one of his best performances in a town shirt, Marcus Harness, that night against Hull.
Yeah, absolutely, yeah, easily. You know, and to get his goal, you know, towards the end,
nice to see.
That was set up by Hurst. You know, him chasing off the ball down towards the corner flag, and then, you know, Harness just, you know, nipped in at the right time, right space, and, you know, to get his goal, just rounded off a real great night for him, and deservedly so, because, you know, that's what I'd like to see more of from, you know, the players who don't get the minutes. I mean, I think just moving on a little bit, maybe towards maybe Brandon Williams and hopefully, you know, Twan Xavier. I think Jack Taylor. I think for me, Jack Taylor will come good at some point. Maybe his progress has been a little bit slower, tempered by, you know, McKenna, but I'm sure that he will get there at some point in the season.
Just got a couple of FA Cup games in Needham Market, Craig, are away at Chester. I remember going to Chester in the FA Cup when Jonathan Walters was playing for them. I remember we signed him just after that. And this team here, right, Cambridge United are playing Bracknell, by the way. If either of you have heard of this team here, we will end the podcast now. Charlton versus Cray Valley Paper Mills. I mean, who are they, Phil?
There's Cray Wanderers. I've heard of Cray Wanderers. They play, I think it's step 3 or step 4.
Funny you should say Cray Wanderers, because yesterday afternoon I refereed Cray Wanderers under 14s girls. There you go. But yeah, Cray Valley Paper Mills. Can someone tell me what league they play in? Because I have not got a clue. Cray Valley Paper Mills. Anybody in the chat? Is there anybody in the chat? Let's have a look at the comments. No. But Colin does say, when we played Chester away, Phil, do you remember Mark Wright, who played for Liverpool in England?
Yep.
He was a Chester manager.
Yeah, I was going to say he managed there, didn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Johnny Walters. What a player he was, Craig. Loved him.
Oh, yeah.
Was that 2008 we signed him? Was it 2008?
Jim McGilton was manager, so it would have been around that time.
You know, that would have been earlier than that.
No, it was Jim. Yeah, it was Jim.
2006?
He wasn't. When did Roy Keane come in? 2009, because that's the last time we beat Norwich, so it would have been around there. Jonathan Walters, who had a spectacular falling out with Roy Keane, if anyone remembers.
Mate, isn't he?
You what?
Roy Keane's best friend, isn't he?
Don't think they're on each other's Christmas cards list. So yeah, Hull City.
He goes on about it.
Hull City put to the sword, and then we come to the last game last Saturday. Preston North End at home, another 6-goal thriller. Town run out 4-2 winners. Craig. It was a similar sort of, obviously 3-1 up, weren't we, at half time? And then second half, like I touched on before, we did look. I think it's at like 7 games. I think in 21 days, and we did look a little bit tired in that second half, didn't we?
Yeah, definitely. And I think obviously the whole game probably took a lot out of them, energy-wise, to then go straight into Preston. And I think it did, like you said, I think it just took its toll. And it took a while. I thought we would have made a few changes earlier.
Right, we've got an update. They play in the Isthmian League South East Division, and they have the greatest ground name, says Matt Stannard, Badgers Sports Ground.
That sounds like a Step 4 team. That sounds like the same level as Felixstowe and
Cray Valley Paper
Stone Market.
Mills play at Badgers Sports Ground. Wow. Anyway, yeah, back to Preston. Sorry.
Yeah, and it was just, I thought it was Massey's probably worst game in a while in regards to the standards he set himself. He just
I was
looked
surprised he actually played them 3 games in that week.
Well, I think we've all had the discussion, haven't we, that we never thought he would be able to do 3 in a week. So before the game, I was half expecting Taylor to play. And the fact that Mass was in there was a bit of a surprise to me. But maybe McKenna wanted to look at it. McKenna might now think, well, actually, he can't do 3 in a week.
I was quite happy to see Friday night he wasn't. But I know like there's a load of Town fans wanting him to play at Wembley against England. I was actually quite happy when he was. We will touch on the internationals a little bit later, but I was quite happy to see him on the bench and not come on Friday.
Yeah, well, obviously, I don't think he'll play at Rotherham Friday.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, that's my take on it. But
we'll come on to that. We'll come on to that. Yep.
Yeah, Preston, it's the same story. He's in a game where we're super comfortable.
Yeah.
I think you used the analogy, didn't you? I think last week with they were on the ropes. Obviously, once the third goes in, which was obviously great play from her Broadhead. That last 5-6 minutes.
Yeah, another goal then. They're going under.
Goal. You can put. Well, I say you completely kill it, but with us at the minute, you just don't know. But second half, they didn't really create a lot. Had a lot of ball. Preston sort of huffed and puffed without really doing an awful lot. Get back to 3-2, and you get into that nervy stage again where you're thinking, "Oh, here we go again." But we just seem to be when the back's against the wall, we seem to sort of come up with the goods, and we got the fourth, and then once the fourth goes in, it's just seeing it out. And obviously, he made the changes, and McKenna didn't need the subs, and
they all had an effect, didn't they, when they came on?
Were involved, weren't they, in the goal, and I think that's where you see the maturity as well from Amari, because I think maybe 4 games earlier he would have took that on. We see it, didn't we? I think was it away at Sunderland first game.
Yeah,
he could have squared it, and there's been a few other little bits where you think, right, come on, you need to don't sort of hog it. There's a better option, and the pass was brilliant, and I think that shows the maturity, and that's what McKenna's probably been working with on the training pitch with him, and it was a relatively good performance. I thought. What
do you think? What do you think to Preston, Phil? What did you think to Preston?
Well, I would say, going into those 2 games, the Hull and Preston games, I would say I thought the Hull game would be, a tougher game, and it wasn't. I would say Preston under Ryan Lowe, I would say he's another manager who's, who's done his kind of, apprenticeship. I think he was at, was he at Bury?
Yeah, he was at Bury. Yeah.
And then I would say he's one of those managers that I think is going to do very well this season. He had a bit of falling out with the Preston fans last season, but Preston, I'm saying, they're third for a reason, and they do like to get bodies into the box. I've noticed from the games that they played, and I thought to myself, oh, this could be another game where they get 1 or 2, and it kind of proved me correct. But no, I mean, say Preston. I'm saying for me, Preston as a child, as a teen, I'm saying I used to visit my grandparents up at Preston. They lived in just outside Preston when I was younger in school, and we would go up every summer. And when we did, I'd get in at least 1 or 2 Preston games in August when the season started. So yeah, I've seen a bit of progression. I saw them play under David Moyes. He was, I'm saying, from the locals back then, I heard that he was rated quite highly as a manager, and he's gone to be success in European football. But I mean, say the goals that we scored against Preston, the first goal Chap scored straight off the training ground from a corner.
Yeah,
wonderful finish. And then the second goal that Brandon Williams scored is going to be, it's a genuine contender for goal of the month, clearly. He runs 60, 70 yards on his own, unchallenged. And I think for me, the referee, he played the advantage. I'm saying he could have pulled that back for that elbow on Burns, and that Preston player really should have been sent off, for that
Robbie Brady.
For catching Burns in the face the way he did, because Burns was down for a minute or two, wasn't he?
You say there, Phil. You say about Brandon Williams could be for goal of the month. Normally, I think they have 4 goals, Craig, nominated. Well, we've played 2 league games in October already, and there's already 4 goals. There's Burns, Chaplin's 1 against Hull, Chaplin's 1 against Preston, and Brandon Williams. So we've got Rotherham, Bristol City, and Plymouth. We've got 3 more games. I mean, if we score 2 or 3 more crackers in that, this is going to be probably one of the best, toughest choices to pick. Because normally there's a standout goal, isn't there, really?
We were better than Chelsea's last month.
Well, Sheffield Wednesday the other month. This guy, I can't remember what his name was. Was it Delgado? He won their goal of the month, Phil, because he was the only player who scored against Middlesbrough.
That was Chelsea, 1 goal. Chelsea had the same. They did their goal of the month, and it was 4 videos of the same goal.
We are blessed at the minute. So, look,
definitely.
We finished with 16 from 18 points from the last 6 league games, this block. So, right, now, and get involved in the chat. Give me your standout player from the last 6 league games and 1 League Cup game. I'll go for Craig first.
I would probably go with... I will go Brandon Williams.
Oh, that's a good. He's come in. Look, he's really shown. I think he came in, didn't he? He came on that game against Leeds.
Wednesday.
Yeah, but the Leeds game when he came on and made his debut, and he got wrong side of that guy. Not the greatest start. Then he scored the own goal at Reading, and then you look. I think nowadays you do get a lot of fans. They're too quick to judge players. And you see on the socials, why we signed him, But he showed, didn't he? The last 2 games that he started, it shows for me, Craig. I think Harry Clark, unless there's an injury, he's not going to get back in the team.
Yeah, no, I agree with that. I think it's one of them again where I know we had a debate, didn't we, a little while ago when we talk about Walton and Haraki, and you don't. Like I said, you don't have to do anything wrong to be dropped. But if someone generally comes in that's better than you, it's not going to take long for them to come in. And really now, the only way Clark's coming back in probably is by an injury to Davis or Williams.
True.
I think for me, there's. I was thinking about this, when you asked me earlier, and there's 3 or 4 players that you could pick from the last block of games that, are worthy of, Player of the Month award. But for me, I'm going to go with Amari Hutchinson, simply because, he has scored. He has been involved in the goals in the last 6-7 games. And I could so easily go for, Chappers or Brody, over the last... Because they've both scored 3 goals each. Him and Brody have obviously got goal of the month contenders, but I just think for Amari's age and level of experience to come into a team like this, who is now pushing for promotion to Premier League, he's showing his quality, and it's just so refreshing to see. I think Ben Adams, I think, mentioned it after the Southampton game. He mentioned that Amari, he's the first player that we've, signed on loan that's come to the club that has shown that there is an improvement in the squad. And I think for me, that's where it started for Amari. That Southampton game, on the 19th, and he's. I just think that he will get the more goals this season. He'll get more assists, and I just hope that Axel Twanzebe, will do the same, and I'm sure Jack Taylor will improve as well. And I just think, come Christmas, come the new year, when we need to rely on players like that, when there's going to be squad rotation, obviously, that those players are going to step up and show what they've got, and that's what I'm going to predict for the next 2 or 3 months.
Right, for my standout player, I look at obviously look your goal scorers, but I think I spoke about this player before, Craig and Phil. He's got 5 assists this month, and he missed a game at Southampton. When he went down that day against Wednesday, I think we all thought that don't look good. You know, the way he was holding on to Cameron Burgess' hand, I'm thinking he's broke his ankle here. And then you think he was on the pitch at Southampton after the game, and then he played against Blackburn. Leif Davis, I mean, he's got 5 assists this month. I think he's destined, guys, for the Premier League, whether Town get there or they don't. I think it's $1.5 million, didn't we? We signed him from Leeds. I think he's going to go for some serious money. Serious money.
For me, 15 minimum.
Yeah, when you look at Webster, I think, and we signed him for 3. We sold him for 3 when he went to Bristol City, and then I think a year later, Craig, he went to Brighton for 25. I think then 25 million. Mark Ashton was obviously he was the guy at the top at Bristol City then. So look, we all hope that he plays in the Premier League with us, but it might be a case even if we went to the Premier League, he might be sold on. You don't know what's happened, but I can see him, and Gov said it before. He thinks he'll be a better player than Aaron Cresswell, Phil.
Well, that's some shout, because Aaron Cresswell's had a prolonged time in the Premier League, and you know, I'm saying for all those of us who play fantasy Premier League football, you know, I had him in my team, and he was always a consistent performer, and you know, to do it in the Premier, I think Leif Davis will do it absolutely 100%. It's just a question of time. You know, will he be there next season with us? You know, will he be there with another team, you know, come next season? But yeah, absolutely, he's a Premier League player for me right now, and to get the amount of assists that he's had so far in the games that we played is phenomenal. You know, if he stays injury free, which touch wood, you know, we all hope that he does. You know, he's going to get on, you know, to double figures. You know, he's going to feature in Team of the Weeks, and you know, he's obviously one of the first names on the team sheet for us. And long may it continue. He's
one of them players now, Craig, who you just expect him to do it.
Well, I think that's the thing, isn't it? I think, to be fair, not just with Davis, I think with all of them, it's the level of consistency from performances from everyone in that team. It's unbelievable when you think about it. There's not many times you come away from a game and you think, well, that person's had a really poor game. But we are now very, very consistent as a team.
And they know now, don't they, that with the players on the bench, they've showed that when they've come in, that if anyone does slip a little bit, their standards, that there's players there to come in for them.
Yeah, definitely.
Right, next 5 games. Get your points predictions in the chat. So the next 5 games we have got. You got your pen and paper, Craig? Or have you already done it?
Done it.
All right. Right, Rotherham away Friday night, live in front of the Sky cameras. Then we go to Ashton Gate for Bristol City on Wednesday week. Plymouth Argyle at home, our old friends from last season. We owe that lot one, because we should have beaten them last season at home. Then we go to Birmingham, and I think they will now be called, Phil. They won't be called Birmingham. They will be called Wayne Rooney's Birmingham, 100%. And then we've got Swansea City at home, and that's before the next international break. So we got 5 games there. How many? Well, we'll go through them one by one, but get in the chat how many points you think. Oh, Phil's got it in there already. Bloody hell! Right, Rotherham on Friday, guys.
Win.
Great.
3 big points.
Bristol City away.
Win.
0.
Oh, you've gone for a loss. I've gone for a point there. Plymouth at home.
Win.
Point.
Oh my lord. Birmingham away.
1 point.
Yeah, I've gone for a draw.
0.
Oh. Swansea City at home.
Win.
Yeah, 3 points.
So you have gone 3.
7.
4. You've gone for 7. I've gone for 11, and Phil's gone for 13. Let's have a look in the chat. Right. 13. Neil Fay says 11. Paul Hedger says 13. Steve Parry says 8. Ben Moore, he says 15 out of 15. Lee Bayliss says 11 to 13. Would love 15. Matt Stanner says 11. Collins says 11. So, yeah, Mr. Negative up there.
Took a leaf out of your book, didn't I?
Yeah, and Fulham in the cup, by the way. What are we doing against Fulham in the cup? Are we beating them?
Win on pens.
Oh, yeah, that'd be great, wouldn't it? And then we'd be in the quarterfinals. I think that would be.
Then give me the winner of Mansfield, Port Vale.
and then we're into Phil's semi-finals, like he said.
Absolutely, 100%.
Don't get me wrong. It'd be lovely to get a big. If you got through Fulham, to get a big. But if you could get the winner of Mansfield, Port Vale at home,
Mansfield will win that. Mansfield will beat Port Vale. They hammered Notts County away yesterday, 4-1.
It's Nigel Clough, isn't it? It's Nigel Clough.
Yeah, the Stags. I think they're unbeaten. Phil under him, but so yeah, Craig's a bit negative. Phil's optimistic. I'm sort of a bit level-headed as normal. So right, what else have we got? Right, internationals. Obviously, Wes Burns injured, guys.
That looks like he's jarred it, or at worst, probably maybe dislocated his shoulder. Is my prediction.
He was having a scan. He was having a scan. I know he had a scan on Friday. I don't know how he is. I did see on his Instagram. I'm not sure. Where was he?
Was he in Paris?
It was very. No, Wolfie was in Paris. Wes was in. I don't know where he was. It looked quite sunny. It looked warmer than it was.
Gibraltar. Wales again. It was the Gibraltar game. Him and Brody played, and he came.
That was at Wrexham. That was at Wrexham. He wasn't in Gibraltar.
No, that's the team they played.
Yeah. But look, I know a lot of people will say about why do they play in these international friendlies. I think if you said to Wes and you said to his family, that they want him to represent his country. So it's just one of them things. We'll just look, if he's injured for any period of time, we've got the players that can come in, and we just have to get on with it. So we just have to see how he is.
It's interesting to see that they played a friendly, because didn't UEFA introduce the Nations League to do away with the friendlies in the first place? Was that their thinking?
I think that, but I think they've had that. That's gone, isn't it? The Nations League. I don't think that starts again until after the Euros, I think. Right, I've got a question for you, and a question for you, and everyone in the chat. Right, Cameron Burgess played on Friday night for Australia at Wembley Stadium. Who was the last Ipswich Town player to play at Wembley for the opposition? I will give you until the end of the show. And that was Matt Phillips yesterday. There you go. Look, both of you looking. Both.
Oh,
just keep your powder dry. Keep your powder dry, because we will.
I think I know who it is. I know who it is.
Yeah, well, keep your powder dry, because we'll have a look in a minute. Right, quickly, your goal of the 7 games, 6 games, because we're not including Jack Taylor.
Go on, Phil. You're going to say Brandon Williams?
It's difficult. I'm saying I just don't know. I mean, say you look at say the Brody goal, the Chaplin goal, they're all right up there. I was listening to the Rest is Football podcast, like I used to do over the last few weeks, and they had Thierry Henry. Obviously, they've done an interview special, and he was talking about the fact that the top players that emulate Lionel Messi have the skill and quality to run with the ball, and it's an extremely hard thing to do. And he was talking about Eden Hazard was one of those players. It just makes that Brandon Williams goal that little bit more special for me. Can I just
come in there, Phil? I see, because Eden Hazard retired, didn't he?
Yeah, he did. Yeah,
and I see that on Twitter. I don't know if I sent it to you, Craig. There was about a 7-minute video of him at Chelsea. Now, he was an unbelievable player. I mean, I don't think gets the credit that he should do. I mean, some of the goals that he scored,
he was unplayable, wasn't he?
Oh,
if he was on his game, he was just unplayable.
But you think when he's 32, Phil, and he's retired. But I think it is like one of them players. It's a bit like sort of, I'd say Michael Owen, a little bit like Rooney.
Yeah, they
start so early, I think, and they play so many games, and by the time when they get to like 30, 32. Michael Owen even probably younger, because he had sort of a lot of hamstring injury, didn't he? I think they're burnt out.
Too. Yeah.
I think they're burnt out. I think they play so much football.
Was that the 2006 World Cup that he had that knee injury? And I know that he was saying for the last 5 or 6 years of his career that he was just waiting for his career to come to an end because he had this issue with his hamstrings that, because he was blessed with, with the speed that he just, after that injury, he couldn't do it anymore. He had that fear of reaching that top level, before the injury. And it just played havoc with his, with his mentality. And that's why
two people in the chat have got it correct.
I actually, the player that I was thinking of is not the player.
But Ben Moore
yeah,
and Paul Hedger are correct. But
there are.
Yeah. What was the score in that game?
2-1 England?
No. I was there that night.
Was it the one where Ricky Lambert scored?
No, that was 3-2. It was England 3, Scotland 0. I was there that night. I think it was on a Friday. Smashed the Scots, we did. Did you know, Craig?
No, I was going to go Knudsen. I'm sure he Denmark.
Good shout.
Mad dog.
Yeah. Didn't we play Denmark at Wembley? And he was, I don't know if he played, I don't know if he was on the bench.
Might have been on the bench.
Maybe.
Because that would have been around that time, wouldn't it? That would have been around that time because he played in the same team as Barra, didn't he?
Yeah.
When was the last time that Luongo played for us? So was it 4 years ago? Did he actually ever play at Wembley? Because I'm saying he was an Ipswich Town player first before.
He was when he was on loan from Spurs.
Yeah, 10 years ago.
Obviously, Mass, I think they've got New Zealand on Tuesday night at Brentford. So I'd expect him to play in that game, Craig.
That's the reason why I said I don't think he'll play Friday. Because I think they'll save, out of the two, he might be needed more for Bristol City.
Yeah.
So maybe we might see Taylor and Morsey, maybe. That's my just thought process.
So quickly, your goal of the month was, or the goal of the block was Williams?
Yeah, Williams Smith, yeah.
I'm going Hutchinson, Southampton away.
I'm going Nathan Broadhead, second goal versus Blackburn.
Yeah, I would say I think for me either Broadie's goal, the Blackburn goal, or Chapman's goal he scored against Hull. I think
I think the Broadhead is the only player with the technique to score that goal.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, totally agree with that. Because he takes 2 touches to control it with his chest, and then smashed it with his right, and he placed that so well. Again, I'm sat right behind that, and I'm celebrating before it hits the back of the net.
I think a lot of other people would have had another touch.
Yeah, and then the goalie would have had a chance to set himself, wouldn't he?
Yeah. He hits it, I think, a touch earlier than everyone else would.
Yeah, and that's when you look at it. When you look at it from behind the goal, obviously you get a good view of that, Phil.
Yeah.
Like you say, Craig, if he has another touch there, because the goalie's obviously, he came out for that ball, didn't he?
Yeah.
And then he's obviously going back. If he takes another touch there, he's probably got a chance to actually set himself and he might actually save it, where it sort of wrong foots him, doesn't it? Because he hits it so early.
Yeah, that keeper was absolutely planted to the spot. He didn't move. I think that he just basically turned to his right, but by then it was because the ball bounced. The ball bounces in front of him, and when the ball bounces in front of the goalkeepers, it's a difficult thing. Because I remember years ago, I think from the '98 World Cup, when I think in the first game Ronaldo scored against Scotland, the way that he hits it, it bounces just in front of the keeper, and when the ball bounces in front of the keeper has a hard time judging the level of the bounce, and that's why it's difficult. But that keeper, the Blackburn keeper, was absolutely planted. He didn't even move for that.
Right. Quick predictions for Friday. We are back Wednesday night with our preview show with me, Gov, and Matt Phillips. Cricket show, guys, Tuesday. I know you're a bit of a cricket fan now, Craig. You're watching a bit of World Cup?
Yeah, I've watched in England before I come on here.
Yeah, I don't know what the score is. I see Matt Stannard said in the chat that Butler was out. But yeah, cricket show Tuesday, preview show Wednesday for Rotherham on Friday night. Gov will have a show Friday after the game. So predictions for Rotherham.
3-1. Yeah, 3-1 Town.
I'm going to go 4-1.
Yeah, I like it. I think we'll play well.
I think the only other scoreline that I can think of, if we don't play well, is going to be just 1-0. And it could be like Wednesday. It could be like Queen's Park Rangers, They're
another one. We owe them one, don't we, Rotherham?
We do, yeah.
I know we beat them, obviously, in the FA Cup, didn't we, last year?
Yeah, we That was 4-1, wasn't it? That was 4-1. So we've got Matt Stannard 3-1, Stephen Parry 3-1, Phil Blundell, he's in the chat, 3-1 Town. Lee Bayliss 2-0, Darren Harvey 4-0 Town, Collins gone 3-1 Town, Paul Ledger 4-1, Metal Jace has gone 2-0. I think it should. I'm hoping because it's on Sky, and obviously we've got a lot of sort of press now. I hope we go there and we play well and we put on a real display and everybody sees what a good side we are.
What, wearing the new fur kit?
Well, it was funny the other day when I see the club club shop was closed for staff training and everyone's like, it's got to be the fur kit. It's got to be. It's not the fur kit. We are now into October. Is there a third kit coming before Christmas?
Yes.
There's got to be. It's got to be imminent because Ashton said, didn't he, at the fans forum, watch this space in the next couple of weeks.
Ian Westlake did say on Town TV, I can't remember what game it was, he was in the studio, that it was in the sort of cupboard at the back.
Yeah, I tried looking yesterday, but there was a lot of doors that were closed.
Was there places where you weren't allowed to go yesterday?
Yeah, obviously we didn't see they didn't take us into the Town TV.
Were you trying to undo some doors? Is the kit in here? Is it in here? Is the third kit in here? No,
but
it's not.
Certain bits that were locked up. So yeah.
Quick question for you, Phil. Do you reckon Ed Sheeran will be at Rotherham?
Yes. I'm looking forward to the halftime show personally.
Anyway, thank you for stepping in today, guys. It's been a good show. We've done an hour and 21 minutes. I mean,
just one more thing.
Yeah, go for it, mate.
I'm not going to be at the Plymouth game, and that's the one game. That's the one game that I wanted to be at this season, and I'm not. I'm going to be in London again, and I'm going to miss it, and I'm gutted about it. And I really hope that we do one over Plymouth on that Saturday because we owe them more than one. That Ruddy away game last season, you know, I was so angry after that. But
still a foul on Chapman.
Yeah, it was. But I'm gonna say, bloody of all the players that they've got, bloody Barley Mumba. Jesus, I'm gonna say if he. We owe them one. You know, we owe them two, really. But
I don't think they're getting so many deflected goals this season, are they?
No.
It's the fact they put gold on their kit.
I like that kit. I know that I'm probably going to get some stick for that, but that is it's by Puma, isn't it? That green and gold home kit. That looks pretty nice. That does.
Is that because they won the league? Is that why they've got the gold on it?
Probably. It's got to be.
That's what I'm saying.
Oh, look, fair play to them. They won the league. We were second. But I'm sure we will be finishing higher than this season. Don't worry about that, boys. Deflection Argyle, Steve Parry says. Anyway, thank you for everybody for tuning in. 200 likes, Craig. Was that what you said? Yeah. Smash the like button. Hit the subscribe. We are, I think, Gov said this morning, I think we're bang on 100, short of 5,000. So let's try and get to 5,000 by
end of October.
If it was next week. Well, by Derby Day, which I hear a rumour is on Saturday lunchtime. Ooh. We will see you on Wednesday night.
You make me smile when I think of you. If I get down or when I get blue, I can't get enough. Oh, yes, lover. You make me happy, I feel so fine. Oh, how I wish that you were mine. I can't get enough. Oh, yes, lover. I woke up all soaked in sweat, weird chills running down my neck. I felt went crazy from just the thought of you. A long blonde hair.